And we know that students were inside this building for a final exam review session when police say the shooter walked in and fired off those rounds from a 9mm handgun. Here's all the crime scene tape. We learned in an earlier news conference that this building was unlocked. And when city leaders were pressed for more answers on this, we were told that the building was unlocked because it was final exam review time. Of course, that'll be a fact that people will really demand answers on. People are already demanding answers on what appears to be a really obvious security lapse with this situation. So you see flowers are here lining the sidewalk, people trying to pay their respects for the 2 lives that were lost. We have been learning more about those 2 young students. One of them was a young man named Muhammad Aziz Amirzakov. His sister is describing him as funny, smart, extroverted. He had dreams of becoming a neurosurgeon. The other student, her name was Ella Cook. She was the vice president of Brown's Republican Club. And the College Republican of America's released a statement saying she was known for her bold, brave, and kind heart, serving her campus chapter and also working with her classmates. One thing I want to point out is that I see there is a camera. It appears to be a camera right here along with an emergency an emergency phone system. You see these on college campuses quite a bit. So far, though, I have not seen any. The visuals that have been shared from Providence, Rhode Island police, they don't appear like they came from this emergency alert system. So while I'm noticing some cameras here around this Barris and Holly building, one thing my producer pointed out, it doesn't mean that these cameras were working. And we've actually asked Brown University today for a statement, for a response to why there are not more visuals from the immediate area around where the shooting took place. So I want to walk this way and kind of point out where I saw the FBI agents working. So yesterday we saw them here. Again, they were kicking up snow. They were looking through these shrubs and these brushes, appearing to look for any type of evidence, any items rather, that might have some evidence, perhaps DNA left behind from this shooter. They started from the front of the building, then they walked all down here, kind of combing through everything. We've seen them looking through not only shrubs and brushes, they've also gone through dumpsters. My colleague Brian Yennis, he saw them picking up items, some glass bottles, pieces of plastic, anything that could have a clue as to who this person is. The images, the latest images we have of the suspect, they were released yesterday evening, right around 5 p.m. local time. And those images are the clearest picture yet of the suspect, but still, they're not great images. You can see the suspect wearing a mask. He's got dark clothing on, green and black. FBI describes him as a man about 5'8", stocky build. And even though they're not the best images, they're still hoping someone will recognize him behind the mask, perhaps recognize his gait. I'm going to walk us this way. I want to kind of move us towards the street where the FBI agents were working. I also want to look back over here to see whether we see any more agents. Right now I'm not seeing any. And again, we just walked not too far. We just walked up from the building and now we're already in a residential area. If we look over here at this home, you can see, if you look over here at this home, FBI agents were working here yesterday too, looking around this property. They're going up to doors, knocking on them, asking homeowners whether they have any surveillance, any additional video that can perhaps crack this case open. And this is Waterman Street. We've been talking a lot about this area. So this street is only about a 2-minute walk from the physics and engineering building where the shooting took place. And so if you can have that perspective in your mind, this could be an explanation for why more campus surveillance cameras didn't capture the gunman, because all the video we have appears to be from Waterman Street, those are home surveillance cameras, not campus cameras. So right now, me and my colleagues are thinking that it is a very likely possibility that the shooter didn't even have to move through campus. Maybe he didn't even go through campus to access that building. So here's Waterman Street. And as you can see, there are homes all up and down this block. And so this will be a key area for investigators to continue their work in, asking homeowners here, did you see something? Did you see anything out of place the day before, the day of the shooting? We know the latest surveillance images were from about 2 p.m. local time, so 2 hours before the tragedy took place. And you see the person of interest, he looks like he's walking up and down this area. He's kind of looking around, looking all over, not sure what he's doing, but it's a possibility that maybe he is looking to see what cameras are around. So I want to walk us up this way. And again, this is the section of Waterman and Hope Street. We're going to wait for the light, you guys. And it can't be, I can't say enough how much of an impact the shooting has had. We were in a Target yesterday, picking up some items our crews needed, and it's what everyone is talking about right now. And there's definitely a desire for answers. Two employees were chatting about why there are not more images yet of the suspect. Okay, we're going to walk across this way. We also saw a lot of FBI agents here yesterday. They were, I would say, at least a dozen. They were moving in this area, again, looking through all of these shrubs, looking along any little pockets, concealed areas. We saw them looking in some of these garbage disposal bins. They also went through these parking lot areas. So you can see there are a couple, not only are there homes, there are also some businesses. And so they were looking behind in the parking lots near cars. One really key thing to point out is that gun, officers say the gun used in the shooting has not yet been recovered. So if we walk up here, this is a parking lot that they really focused on yesterday. I want to say it was right. It was a little bit further up. And I'm going to try to pull up the stream if you guys have any questions or anything like that about what we're seeing out here. So this is a parking lot where we saw a lot of FBI agents working yesterday. They came here, they rounded this corner. They were looking near the cars, they were looking along this fence. Presumably trying to see if anything was discarded by this person of interest or this suspect in the moments before or after the gunfire. They were all up in this parking lot looking for evidence, and we're going to keep an eye out. We're going to be here all throughout today to see whether they return to continue more of the grid search, I would describe it, looking for clues. So we're going to go back to the Barris and Hawley Engineering building to wrap this up, but I hope this gives you guys a sense of how easy it would have been for the suspect to access the campus. He didn't even it's very possible he didn't even go through the main parts to carry out this heinous act. There are so many questions and there's anxiety, fear, and frustration because when the gunfire happened, students report that the campus alarm system didn't go off. Those are those sirens that you should usually hear on a campus when there's some type of emergency situation. And students are reporting that they didn't hear them. So we've asked Brown University for a statement, a response as to, the concerns from these students, because there are going to be a lot of questions in the days and weeks to come about what appear to be security lapses in the moments before and after this tragedy. So again, we're walking here. We're right now coming back up to the intersection of Hope and Waterman Street. And I have to wonder, as a journalist here on scene, we've seen 3 videos now, still don't have a really clear view of the person of interest. I wonder why there's not more home surveillance video in this area still. But we know FBI agents and Providence police say they still have a lot of work to do, so maybe there will be more to come today. Right now, all the video that we have seen, though, is from this intersection. Again, right here, this is Waterman Street, this is Hope Street, and the Barrison Holly building is right there, where you see some of those cameras lined up. Right now, the law enforcement presence is not as visible today. Again, it's still very, very early. It's not even noon local time. So things, again, the activity could pick back up as the day goes on. By 2:30, I would say, is when we saw a lot of agents and officers moving about in this area. We're going to keep our eyes peeled to see whether those efforts pick back up today. Thanks you guys for joining us. We're going to continue to push for answers here on scene.